Good afternoon, everybody. I will call to order this board meeting of Mission Springs Water District on November 15th, 2021. We'll start with roll call, please.
Director Sewell.
Here.
Director Grasha.
Here.
Director Duncan.
Here.
Apologies. Vice President Martin.
Here.
And President Wright.
Here.
Thank you. We have quorum.
Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance. Hey, Randy, why don't you start?
Absolutely.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So nice to see it all together.
We almost got everybody.
Okay, stand the invocation. We don't have, you can't stand if you like. We ask thee, Heavenly Father, in thy infinite wisdom to guide the members of this board in such a way that all their thoughts, endeavors, and decisions will be made for the betterment of the entire community. We also beseech thee to protect our country and our people from all conflicts, foreign and domestic. Amen. Amen. I did the roll call, did not. Rules of procedure, Mr. Payne.
Yes.
Oh, there you are.
According to the rules of procedure adopted by the Board of Directors, all noticed meetings are conducted using Rosenberg's Rules of Order as a procedural guideline. The president of the board presides at all meetings and decides all points of order and procedure during meetings. The president is responsible for the maintenance of order and decorum at all board meetings. No person should be allowed to speak who has not first been recognized by the president. All questions and remarks should be addressed to the president as a presiding officer. No member of the board should speak more than once upon any one subject until every other member of the board wishing to speak on the subject shall have been given an opportunity to do so. No board member shall interfere with the orderly progress of a board meeting. The board president regulates the amount of time to be dedicated to a particular agenda item.
Thank you. Public input. Is there anybody there for public input? Sorry.
Yes, ma'am. I have Pamela Edmondson. Pamela, whenever you're ready.
Hello and welcome to all the board members and everyone else there. I want to say a thank you again to Marion for her help with getting me into the internet and getting me to be able to look up the packets and to see the agendas. I also want to thank Dory for some questions that I have in regards to one of the agenda items and her helpfulness in sending my questions to the appropriate people. So again, I just want to say thank you, and I am so very happy and pleased to be listening in. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Pamela. I'd like to thank you again for helping out on helping to make our website a little more user-friendly. Thanks for your expertise. Anybody else, Dory?
That is it, Madam President.
Okay, thank you. Number 6, COVID update. Anything else, Mr. Wallen?
Oh, excuse me. There we go. Nothing really new from what I reported.
Your microphone. There you go.
Is that better?
That's better.
Okay. Nothing really new from what I reported on Thursday. The numbers are going up slightly, but the one thing that they have mentioned is that the ICUs, the hospitals are full of patients for this early in the year. I think we have a lot of people in the valley. So
oh yeah,
from that standpoint,
a lot of traffic.
You know, that's also a recipe for, you know, the spread of any virus, whether it be the flu. So nothing really new other than even though the numbers have come up a bit, I think they went back down. A lot of the people in the ICUs are not COVID patients. So let's hope that we can keep on out in front of this. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
But things are in place basically till the end of the year. Okay.
Okay, thanks. Item number 7, human resources report. I think there's so many of them there, and I know you've got Danny Friend here who was last month. He was not here, so you're gonna do him too. So I'm just going to turn over to you, Arden.
Well, okay, yeah,
Okay.
well, I'm going to turn it over to their supervisors. However, Brian is going to make some comments for Lee since he couldn't be here today. But I get to, I think I'll start out because Danny is, of course, very close to me. I've been working with Danny for the 17 years I've been here. This is, Danny, your 24th year. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
There he is.
All right. And he's always been one of the most enjoyable people to work with. When I first got here, he was the in engineering technician. We had so many projects, and we've worked on so many things I can't even begin to tell you, or I wouldn't even know where to begin, frankly, to tell you all of the projects that we've worked on together. And I can tell you that there are several people in the district that just know this district like no one else, and are people that we go to specifically for issues that are surrounding the district's system. And Danny is one of those people. And for that, I want to say thanks, Danny. All the time that I've gotten to work with you, I have really enjoyed it. So congratulations on making it 24 years, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And while I'm up here making my speech, I also have another person that's been here for 2 years. That's Mr. Brian Macy, who I actually did get to work with for, 6 or 7 years before that. And when the opportunity came along to ask him to come on board, he did. And I've had him doing a variety of things since I've been here. For a while, he was with public outreach, HR, and IT. Those are now under me. I've asked Brian to step over and work with Danny and operations, and then do the engineering, since he is a very, very good engineer. And so he's gonna head up that part of the operation. But I can't tell you how nice it has been to have Brian here. He really does know how to be a general or assistant general manager, I should say. And I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot, Brian. And I've loved the time you've been here in the last 2 years. You've been very helpful.
Thank you. It's been a great opportunity. I've had a lot of fun.
And I will tell you, I know for reasons I won't mention, he's been very loyal to this district because I know he's had opportunities. So with that said, those are the only two that I have. Danny, do you want to make, or no, is Bassam here too? Or you or Danny want to make comments about Alex and Colton?
Mr. Nutter's on
anything?
Mr. Nutter's on the meeting.
Okay. Oh, Jeff is here. Good. Jeff, would you like to say something?
Sure. Alex Acevedo, he's been in the construction maintenance now for 2 years as our lead field operation technician, and doing a terrific job with everything he does. I can't thank him enough for the day-to-day efforts he puts in. There's not a day that goes by that he doesn't help me out with something. So I thank him a lot for everything he does every single day. Colton, he's another field operator, worker too. He's spent some time in water production and recently has made the move over to construction and maintenance as a worker too, and is doing a fantastic job as well, leading the crews to the daily task and getting things done. And we really appreciate all of his efforts as well.
Thank you. And Danny, did you want to say something about Tim then, or Bassam?
Oh, Are you talking about Tim Owens?
Yes.
I think Jeff's prepared to talk about Tim
Oh,
as well.
okay, Jeff. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I heard there was a quiet there and I didn't
Yeah.
know.
Tim Owens is actually, he's on vacation for the next 2 weeks. So he's not in attendance at this meeting.
Okay. Well, my compliments to them. I know that we really are proud of you've heard me say this, of the staff we have now, especially the field crews. And boy, these people come so qualified these days. And I want to say thanks to Jeff and to Danny and Bassam for, vetting this and getting us some really good employees to help do the work out there. They're the ones that are out there in the middle of the night, replacing water lines and leaks and repairing leaks and whatever needs to be done. So.
And Dory. She's on here.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, shoot. I was going to go down and get Dory, but
You're jumping all over the place. I thought.
No, but I was going to do all the 5 years separate.
Well, that's 5 years. Oh, you're doing separate. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
kind of the Wallem way.
And then we have Jeff, who all of us have known for the whole time we've been here. He's the longest lasting one here. And I'll start out, and then I think Danny might want to say something, and maybe Bassam. But Jeff and I have been through a lot also. And he is the other person that if you want to know how the system works or what's happening out there in the field or what needs to be done, Jeff is the person that we go to. He has been around the longest. He is very, very qualified, very knowledgeable of our system. And I can't thank him enough for the many, many times that we've relied on Jeff to help us in times of need. And when we need to know what's going on, Jeff is brought in to help us make that decision whenever we have to think of what we need to do to move forward. So Danny, did you or Bassam want to say anything with Jeff?
Jeff, I appreciate all your hard work. It's been a long ride. I know you're dedicated and you give more than most people here at the district does. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Danny.
Okay, now Brian, I'm going to let you handle.
Yes, there are a couple on there. And why Jeff is there, Jeff? No, thank you so much. I know in the last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of conversations regarding the production group. And I know we've exchanged text messages as early or as late as 4 in the morning. And I appreciate everything you're doing to help us. So thank you very much for that. Some of the other people that David Weaver, collections lead operator. David's been with us 2 years, and there's 4 of us that have been here for 2 years. And who would have guessed that we would have had the 2 years that we've had? I think for most of that time, we've been dealing with a pandemic. So it's been an interesting ride. But David has taken ownership of our collection system, our CC closed circuit TV, as well as the cleaning of our sewer system, and doing a fantastic job. Matter of fact, we're talking about some of the things that they're working on right now. They are able to actually clean all of our system in 1 year, which is industry practice. We're not actually do all the inspections in the time that we need to do, but we are being very proactive in making sure that we get to some of the hot spots before they are truly hot spots. So done a great job coordinating all those activities and making sure that all of the video and inspection records are on our CCMS. So fantastic job for David. I appreciate it. David, is there anything you'd like to say? I believe you're on the call. Maybe not. I know Andy is also with us, I believe, our interim lead wastewater treatment. He's been with us for 5 years. Andy just took over the interim lead position as a wastewater plant operator just recently, also doing a fantastic job. For the last couple of weeks, he's been issuing weekly updates, as well as bringing everyone together once a week for training certain parts of our train or certain parts of our treatment, which is really adding some synergy to the group and really helping us with some of the issues we've had down at the plant. Him and Lee are doing a great job. The ponds are reacting very well. We've changed some of our processes. We're upgrading the odor control, as you've already been aware of, as well as some other bypass pumping issues that we have down there. So the plant, thanks to Andy and thanks to Lee, are doing a fantastic job in running at peak efficiency. But that does not mean that we don't need our regional plant. We are still getting very, very close to capacity at our treatment plant. So we're looking very excited to the regional plant, and Andy will be a big part of that. The last one I think we have to talk about maybe is Dorian Arturo.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, April Scott. April's
Yeah,
there as well.
no, yeah, well, I was going to let Arturo.
Okay.
We have our 5 years. I was just kind of going by the grouping, and now we have 3 people that have been here 5 years, a significant anniversary. Starting at the top, and I'll let Arturo say something. But while Arturo's getting ready to say something, I am going to tell you that, you know, April was one of those people that we decided to really go out there and get a really qualified person. And even though April did not have any specific experience with water districts, which usually eliminates a lot of the candidates, we broadened our scope to look for people that we thought were really talented customer service managers. And April went right to the top, and she has been a godsend to us in helping us with handling a lot of the issues that we've needed to. And so thanks, April. And with that, Arturo, I'll let you build from there.
Yes, thank you, General Manager. And just to resonate what you said, thank you, April. She's been doing a great job with district customers, anything related to customer service. She's been at the forefront, and we're very lucky to have her. As many remember, April actually started in the HR department, and we're very lucky that she has over 20 years of experience in customer service, and she was the best candidate for the job and continues to do a great job. And nothing but great things about April. And she continues to grow with that position and making a lot of great changes for the district. And we couldn't be more proud of what she's doing. So thank you.
Thanks, Arturo. And then just a quick comment to build a little bit on what Brian has said about Andy, is that he was another one of those people that we brought in from the beginning. And I could not be more proud of an employee than I am of Andy. And I knew he graduated a little bit ahead of my son and daughter, but I know Andy very well. His family's in this business, and he knew exactly what he's getting into. And wow, I mean, I think we have some great plans for Andy in the future. So I want to say thanks, Andy, for coming to work here. And then, of course, we have Dory, who you all know very well. And I can't believe it's been 5 years, but really have, again, Dory and I have worked together and been through a lot. We've seen a lot of changes, even in the 5 years that Dory's been here. She's been excellent, and I've just loved working with her, and she's been my assistant, helping me with the board materials and with the board scheduling. And she's also very capable. I'm going to even ask her to do a few more things here in the future, and she's been very agreeable to do that. So thanks, Dory, for being there and being such a good employee over the last 5 years.
Good recovery.
And then the last one that we have is we do have a promotion, which many of you already know about, but we've promoted Arturo to the Director of Finance and Accounting. And I am going to tell you that when we did have a shift and when Matt moved on, Arturo stepped in without even a flaw and put together things that I was so proud of. And he did such a good job of stepping up to the plate and helping. And he's been doing nothing but improving since then. And after looking at this, I have the confidence that Arturo is the person that I want to be ahead of that department. So thanks, Arturo, and thanks for all the work that you've done, and thanks for stepping up to the plate when we needed you. And you can.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. You can go on for half an hour if you want to, but thanks, Arturo. And I believe that's it.
We got a new hire. Jeannie.
Oh, Jeannie. Oh, what do I pass? In engineering? Yes, the administrative assistant. Jeannie actually is not as new as you may think, done very well. I'm going to let Brian elaborate on that. She was no question that she was very, very ideal for the position. So with that, I'll let you take it.
No, and thank you, General Manager. Yes, Jeannie actually was first started working for the district through the temp agency. It's one of the things that Arden stresses, that we make sure that, if we need to show the need, we just don't want to hire someone just because we feel we have a need. We bring someone in, and in this particular case, we had 2 part-time people, and then it turned into a full-time job. And we asked, hey, does anyone want to interview? And Jeannie said yes. And she's done a fantastic job. She has been doing a fantastic job. But when she walked in day 1, she hit the pavement running, and she's changed a lot of her, not necessarily changed, but improved or enhanced many of our requisition processes in engineering. So she's already shown that she's an asset to the district.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you. I just like to say on behalf of the board, thank you to all of you for your hard work and help in making MSWD a successful district.
We had quite a list today.
Yeah, that's why I gave it to you. Okay, we will move on to item number 8. Resolution 2021-17, a resolution of the Board of Directors of Mission Springs Water District proclaiming the local emergency, COVID thing. So anything different on that, General Manager?
Nothing different, same as you did last month. And this will put you in compliance until the regular board meeting next month.
Why are we only doing this 30 days at a time?
Because the law says we have to.
That's how they do
We
it.
can't go out 6 months or so,
No.
as long as the governor's
No,
pushed it off.
It's
gotta do
every
it
30
monthly.
days.
30 days.
Sorry, every 30 days.
Yeah, and if you don't, and LAFCO's having an issue because our board meetings sometimes are, they can't have enough time to do that. So we've been meeting in person because they don't have that 30-day is set in stone. So anyway, okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve staff's recommendation of resolution 2021-17.
So move.
Please use your
Roll
microphone.
call vote, please.
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Gracia,
Yes.
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Vice President Martin,
Yes.
and President Wright.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 9, professional service contract with TK Engineering for construction management and inspection of the regional water reclamation facility. Do any of the board members here on the dais? I can see you guys. Want to make a comment? Have a question?
No.
Okay, Director Gracia, do you have a question on number 9?
Not really. No.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion to adopt item number 9, professional service contract for TK Engineering.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Roll call vote, please.
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Gracia,
Yes.
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Vice President Martin,
Yes.
President Wright.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. And number 10 we're doing today?
yes, number
Okay.
10 we're doing today.
Okay, number 10 is the 3rd amendment to the Public Water System Improvement and Water Service Connection Fee Credit Reimbursement Agreement between Skyborne Ventures and Mission Springs Water District. I will turn this
Okay,
over to
I'm
General
gonna-
Manager.
Well, yes, we've been working on this. John Pinckney and I and Peg have been working with Skyborne on this, and I'm going to let Mr. Pinckney elaborate on the agreement, but it's exciting. I think it accomplishes everything that both parties need to accomplish.
Okay, so just to get to the main points of this 3rd amendment, according to the terms of the agreement, on December 15th, the developer must deposit $4,275,000 with the district. This is the estimated cost to complete well 35 and rehabilitate well 34 and build an intertie line connecting well 34 and 35. And rather than entering into another agreement, because again, this is the Third Amendment, rather than entering into another agreement wherein the developer agrees to construct these improvements, the district will have the $4,275,000 on deposit to build the improvements itself. So the district will be taking on building, finishing well 34 or 35, rehabbing 34, and building the intertie. And the developer will assume the risk that the improvements will meet the district's requirements. In exchange for the developer depositing these funds that are needed to complete the improvements, the district will provide sufficient number of water meters for the developer to build an additional 108 homes within the development. So it will support development within that project. This Third Amendment will. Once well 34 and 35 are completed, if the developer designs a well 36, the developer would be given meters that are sufficient to build an additional 178 homes. The parties recognize that this was done in a bit of a piecemeal fashion. In the past, what we've done is we've taken the original agreement and we've created an amendment of the entire document. You can see this is a relatively short document, and that's because the developer had a short time frame within which to work with. They needed this completed before this month, really, because they've got to close escrow on a transaction on December 15th. And that's where the funds are coming from to fund the well 34 and 35 improvements. But what we'd like to do is after today, assuming that this gets approved, is work with the developer on doing a restated and amended agreement that will be a complete document that will set forth all the terms that the parties agree on. So the bottom line is developers putting up a deposit of $4,275,000 in exchange for the district allowing an additional 108 units to be built in the development. I want to point out that if the $4,275,000 deposit is insufficient, because really that's an estimate at this point, but if it turns out to be insufficient to complete well 34 or 35 in the intertie, then the developer is obligated to fund the difference. So any questions?
Go ahead.
Yes, will we get to, okay, these two are existing or already planned out. When we get to the well 36, who's going to pick the site for that, the developer or us? Or has it already been selected?
No, the site has not been selected. We've made some we've put some strong language in here. That is yet to be determined.
Because there is some risk of finding a non-productive
Again.
area. So yeah.
The developer is going to be obligated under the terms of this agreement, Section 2D, to acquire property at a location that's acceptable to the district and then submit complete plans and specs for well 36. So that's what the agreement requires. They would have to pay for the new property, and it would be a location that was acceptable.
But you have to understand the risk then is on them. And so they're going to have to be very sure that they do find a location that will produce the flow that we need from that well.
Right. Okay.
Okay. And Ivan?
No, nothing.
Director Grasha, do you have any questions or comments?
I try to get the questions out without the dog. Are we protecting the quality of the water with the site selection, or his wells are going to be required to perform at a certain level and provide potable water that doesn't require filtration? And if filtration turns out to be required in the future, does that fall back on the developer? You kind of touched on that. And then another part of that would be, question would be, that's a number of 4 million plus is actual cash and not bonds or assurances of other sorts. Other than it's going to be actual an instrument of that cash, right? We're not talking about
Yeah, so in response to the questions, I understand the question. And on what's happening is the developer is selling some lots and their closing is on December 15th. And so that money will be paid in cash. That deposit will be paid in cash or wire into a district account, and it will be held on deposit. So it's not a bond that they're putting up for completion of well 34, 35 in the intertie. It's actual cash. And then under the terms of the agreement, the risk of production, the wells 35, 34, and the intertie have to meet the district's standards and specifications. It has to produce water of a quality and capacity that complies with district standards. And if it doesn't, it specifically provides under the terms of the agreement that the risk falls upon the developer. So this is their project. They need to have wells that are sufficient to meet the needs of their project.
Furthermore, as Mr. Pinckney mentioned, is that if that deposit isn't adequate, then they are required to submit whatever the difference is.
And they paid for the treatment on the current well out there. That was out of their pocket.
Well, yeah, but right now we're not.
No, I know when it was needed.
And the blending should help.
That's right. But I mean, long time ago, they paid quite a bit for that.
That risk is, we won't know until we start.
Got it. But I'm just saying that they paid last time on the treatment.
Right. My concern is that at some point in the future, does that risk of cost of treatment fall on us? Is that date when we accept the wells as part of the Mission Springs assets as opposed to being owned by the district, or are those wells going to be owned by the developer forever? And if not, when is it our response? And how many houses can he build? And this is probably going astray, but this agreement sounds like it allows him to finish up what they've got open ground now, and how far into the future before he has to face this issue again in terms of the number of houses he can he finish his development 100% with this agreement, or are we going to have to talk about this again?
No, this would not allow him to finish his development. It only will allow 108 additional units to be built. So we're agreeing that in exchange for them putting up this deposit, that we're going to allow them to have sufficient meters to support 108 additional residential units, but it doesn't come close to finishing up the project. And then before they got any meters placed after the 108, the next step would be, if they wanted to go beyond that, is well 34, 35 and the intertie would have to be complete. In addition to that, there would have to be a design of well 36 before they could take down any additional units beyond the 108. And what's contemplated by the parties, as I mentioned earlier, was we're doing this in a bit of a piecemeal fashion. This isn't the way that we've historically done this. Amended the agreement. We've typically amended the entire agreement, not just had a relatively abbreviated agreement dealing with just a handful of issues. And so we're going to probably pretty soon be coming back to you maybe early next year, as we're going to be sitting down with the developer and working on a restated and amended agreement that will restate the entire agreement, laying out what all the obligations and duties of the parties are. This was really to facilitate allowing the development of the 108 additional units to go forward and ensuring that the district is going to get well 34, 35 in the intertie completed.
And is there been any discussion on whether or not this would reduce the amount of blending that would be necessary on the well that is in service now? I wondered if that's going too far on this subject, but it's all seems pertinent. And to the developer, I wish you all the luck. I will pray for you regularly that your successful transaction and your completion of these lots that you've got going right now. And good luck to everybody, including the district. Let's hope the business cycle carries him through to a successful conclusion for him, the community, and this district. Thanks.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to adopt the third amendment to Public Water System Improvement and Water Service Connection Fee Credit Reimbursement Agreement between Skyborn Ventures and MSWD, which is the staff's recommendation.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Roll call vote, please.
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Grasha,
Yes.
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Vice President Martin,
Yes.
President Wright.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. Number 11, cost share agreement from the United States Geological Survey Land Subsidence Study in the Mission Creek Subbasin. Is there anything more on that one?
There is nothing more. Go on.
Excuse me, Madam President, I believe that we have someone on the line that would like to ask some questions about some of the things that she heard on Wednesday. Is that true, Dory? Is Pamela still with us?
Pamela is still on the line. Pamela, would you like to present the
Item.
questions regarding the subsidence
subsidence issue.
issue?
Oh, okay, this one, thank you, okay.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
We
thank
would
you,
have
okay,
asked.
sure, Pamela, go right ahead.
Pamela? Pamela? You're unmuted, Pamela. Pamela, can you hear us?
I think she dropped out.
No, I see that she's here and her line is not muted.
Well, she dropped off my screen as an
Is
act.
she?
Oh, there she is. She's back now. Sorry.
I don't even have her on my screen.
Are you there, Pamela?
She has, I'll bet she has her mute button.
You know,
pressed on her phone.
excuse me, if she comes in, let me know, but let's see if we have any comments or questions from the board in the meantime. Vice President Martin.
Point of order, ma'am. The law requires you to, the law requires you
Director
to
Ivan,
meeting.
would you?
The law
have any
requires you to
comments?
stop the meeting.
Director Duncan, do you have any?
No
No
further
questions. Okay. Director
Ma'am,
Grasha, do
point
you
of
have any
order.
comments or
Point of-
questions on
point
this
of-
item?
Point
So
of
I think,
order.
President Wright, I think the question is whether the law requires us to stop the meeting, but it appears that the connection is there, that the person's on, they're unmuted, they're just not responding.
Well, I wasn't going to go.
So
through the
if
vote.
the issue is on their end,
Right.
is that if it's on their end and not on our end, then we're not required to
No,
stop.
right. I wasn't going to just drop it. I was just going to see what else we had to go and then go back and see if Pamela made it on there. So is she on there yet, Dory? Do you see her?
She's unmuted again. Pamela, can you hear us? Madam President, she's on the line and her line appears to be unmuted, but I'm not getting a response.
Pamela, we can't hear you right now. So I guess we can move on according to the law.
Mr. Macy, can we present the questions on her behalf?
Do we know the questions?
We do, yes.
Oh, yeah, let's hear them.
Actually, we can. Steve, are you on the call? Would you like to go through the questions that we received in writing from Pamela?
Yes, I am on the call and I'd be happy to go through. I do have, as Pamela noted at the beginning of the meeting, she did submit written comments directly through Dory. Those came through the team today and we put together a tentative response and I'm happy to go through those now.
Thank you.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Fine.
Would you
Okay.
say who you are so people know?
Yes, this is Steve Ledbetter with TKE Engineering, and we assist the district with different capital projects and water resource related items. These questions came from Pamela regarding the USGS land subsidence study. And the first question is, how was Desert Hot Springs included in the study? And what we're saying, or what our response is, that Desert Hot Springs is primarily located over the Mission Creek Subbasin, which is the focus of the scope of work for the land subsidence study over the Mission Creek Subbasin. Generally speaking, most of the city of Desert Hot Springs and a vast majority of the district service area overlay the Mission Creek Subbasin, which is where the land subsidence analysis will be focused. Question 2, what are monuments and are there any in Desert Hot Springs? Our response is that monument is a land surveying term. A monument can be a wide range of items such as fire hydrant bolt, a concrete pad, an iron rod set in concrete, a brass marker set in concrete, etc. These monuments are constructed to establish horizontal or vertical reference points to the state plane coordinate system and benchmark elevations based off of mean sea level. Part of USGS's scope of work is to identify existing monuments that can be used and identify where new monuments would need to be located to cover the extents of the Mission Creek subbasin. As shown in the agenda packet, part of USGS's scope is to identify 6 or 7 monuments throughout the Mission Creek subbasin, which is about 35 square miles. And again, that would consist of both existing and new monuments for recording elevations for land subsidence monitoring. Question 3, if we are smaller and not included in the survey, why do we have to pay the same amount as the larger Indio or DWA? There are 2 components to the study that we want to clarify. The first one is to continue monitoring land subsidence in the Indio subbasin. And the second is to start monitoring in the Mission Creek subbasin. Component 1 related to the Indio subbasin is about 60% of the total cost of work. And the component 2 for Mission Creek subbasin is only about 40% of the total cost of work of that study. So Mission Springs Water District would only be cost sharing equally split 3 ways with CVWD and DWA for the work over the Mission Creek subbasin only. We're not participating in the cost sharing for the work outside of our service area or outside the Mission Creek subbasin. Last question is, if Desert Hot Springs is rising in elevation and the Salton Sea is lowering as indicated from earthquake activity, should this also be noted in the report along with water subsidence, land subsidence, I believe was the question. We're not sure what the USGS study will find. However, if earthquake activity is found to be related to, whether it be causing or inducing land subsidence, it will be a part of the final report published by USGS. And that is all the questions that were.
And I want to just add to answer the question as far as the cost sharing goes, is that part of what we agreed to in the settlement agreement is going to be integrally involved with the alternative plan. The alternative plan does require that we address subsidence. In the settlement agreement, we agree with the agreement basically specifies that those costs will be split evenly with regard to planning documents, basically. So we're trying to comply with that requirement because the settlement agreement is recognized as a legal document that allows us to be a party to this management process. And it says that we will split that cost evenly. But like Steve said, we're not splitting the cost for the entire study. We're just splitting the cost for the area that is encompassed under Mission Creek subbasin.
Okay, Steve, did you hear back from Pamela that she did receive your answers and was good with them?
Madam President, we just formulated these responses today, this afternoon, so they have not been formally submitted back to Pamela, but they are in Assistant General Manager Macy's inbox and Dory's for a response.
We'll get back to it.
Okay, so you guys will get back to her. Okay, yeah. Well, thank you. And Pamela, if you can hear us, thank you for your questions.
They were good questions.
Yeah, they were good questions. Okay, so I will entertain a motion to approve the cost sharing agreement between the United States Geological Survey and Land Subsidence Study in the Mission Creek subbasin.
So move.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and second on the floor. Roll call vote, please.
Director Sewell.
Yes.
Director Grasha.
Yes.
Director Duncan.
Yes.
Vice President Martin.
Yes.
President Wright.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, item number 12, presentation discussion from Ashley. Good afternoon, Ashley. Welcome to the meeting and thank you for giving us your presentation. So I will turn it over to you.
Good afternoon, Madam President and members of the board. It's a pleasure to be here today. I am talking to you about something that is not unique to DWA, Mission Springs, and many other special districts and cities and counties around California are up against a deadline to produce some new maps for district elections based on the 2020 census data. So we have determined by evaluating the data that a shift in our current district mapping is necessary. We have retained BB&K Election Services to assist us in this transition. We hosted our first public hearing on September 21st. We don't presently have draft maps available. We expect to have them in December or January, and we are anticipating holding a virtual workshop prior to our final hearing that is tentatively scheduled for March. And as you likely know, the deadline is in April to submit our final maps for the 2022 election. If you have any questions about the details, I'd be happy to take a whack at them, or you can head to our website at dwa.org/divisions. I'll put that in the chat for everyone that's attending virtually.
Okay, great.
I had a question.
Excuse me, out of order. Vice President Martin, do you have a question?
No, no questions.
Just
Andy.
one. I don't know if it was a Desert Sun or one of the news stations or somebody, when the census numbers came out, said Palm Springs grew by a whopping 10 people. Are your boundaries, are you looking at inner neighborhood? I mean, is it like development in one section of town? Is that what's shifting your boundaries?
It's basically balancing. So there was more growth in the north. And so we just have to shift the boundaries of each of the divisions so that the population is roughly the same in each of the 5 divisions.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, Director Sewell. Okay, Director Grasha, do you have any questions for Ashley?
Yeah, well, I've heard this report given at multiple board meetings, including yours, and the cities have various different requirements, and it's all kind of, it almost appears like communities of interest are only really communities of interest if they're willing to litigate, and I'm not suggesting that. I did want to ask you, you had mentioned at a public meeting that there would be a hearing with the board on December 14th. And I assumed that was something that was accurate. And I wondered if that still holds. And I want to thank you for being here today. It's a real improvement in things. And I'm looking forward to that continuing between the 2 agencies and hoping that things can be ironed out between us with these districts as they're being reworked, and hope that there's a positive outcome for the people that I represent here in Desert Hot Springs. So with that, I just look for your answer on the December 14th issue.
Yes, sir. The draft of the maps has been delayed from our demographer. So we are considering postponing the December 14th meeting to January, but we are kind of in limbo there. We are trying to get a meeting scheduled, and with Thanksgiving and everyone's holiday schedules and then Aqua, it's been a bit of a challenge. So we will certainly let the MSWD team know as soon as we land on a hearing, or I'm sorry, a workshop date, because that would be a workshop at which no board action would be anticipated, but it would be to gather feedback on the preliminary maps.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ashley.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, item number 13, groundwater sustainability plan update. Anything else?
No, nothing new. You had that on Thursday.
Had that on Thursday. Okay, regional water reclamation facility.
Nothing new.
Nothing new. Okay, Steve, you're batting 100 right now. Okay, critical service center administration building update.
Nothing new on that either, other than I thought we had a great tour again.
That was a great tour. In fact, I did get a brochure here on their garden tour that they had there. They had a great garden with the local plants and whatnot that are that can accommodate their area. I just thought it was really, really good. And I hope we get to have something similar to that. So our public will see what kind of plants would work in their yard and what they would like to see. So anyway, okay. So Aqua president and vice president election, item number 16. Okay, well, the voting, I think, I don't know what to say on this one. The voting will happen at the meeting in December at the Aqua conference. Anybody, we don't know who's running other than the slate of officers right now because they have to be nominated from the floor at the meeting. So I have no idea who it is. I believe that there are some people that might throw their hat in the ring, but we really won't know who they are. So at this point in time, I'm still looking at just voting for the slate of officers that the nominating committee has already put together, and they've interviewed them all and decided that these two ladies, their names are Pamela, what's her name? Pardon? Pamela Coven and Coben and Kathy Green. Okay, the two of them. Pamela is the current vice president of Aqua right now. So Director Martin, do you have any comments on that?
No, I've heard nothing but good about these two candidates. So I'll support whatever decision the president here makes. So.
Okay, Director Grasha.
Well, I'm shocked that at our study session, you seem to know exactly who was running. You mentioned their names, and now suddenly you've forgotten. And that's an interesting development.
Just let me tell you that Mr. O'Dowd told me that he was thinking about it. So that's why I mentioned that. Anyway, I told you that I didn't know if he was or not. So listen to the tape again. Okay, so Director Sewell.
I'm in support of the recommended slate.
Dr. Duncan.
Yeah, anything short of something catastrophic happening, yeah, I recommend the slate and let you make that decision at that meeting.
Okay, and I believe the candidates will be at the meeting or in virtual or at the meeting. I'm not sure. And I think they're going to give them time to do the little presentation and stuff before the votes. So we'll see what happens. Okay, thank you. Item number 6, district holiday schedule. Okay, Arden, you can try to explain this one again.
Well, actually, we're going to have Oriana and Mr. Brian Macy put something, I guess, up on the screen. Am I right, Brian?
You said 6.
Yes, Oriana's prepared a short PowerPoint presentation to explain how we're looking at the holiday schedule.
I mean, while that's happening, I just my comment was, this is we're coming out of this pandemic, which is almost 2 years. And the staff's been really good. And I thought, well, since the holidays did fall on the weekend, we could basically do this for them. And if you don't want to do that, or you want to do something different, that's fine. We'll be happy any way you want to do it.
Okay, this is item number 17, if I misspoke. Yes. So, okay, sorry. Okay, so go ahead. Who's going to do the presentation?
Oriana, I think.
Oh, Oriana.
I am. I'm just trying to get the right screen up. Can you see item 17 on this screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you. So we have prepared this very short presentation to help us visualize the holiday schedule we are requesting the board to consider. Where we are right now, let's see if I can bring it up. This is what the month of December looks like. Christmas falls on the 25th, a Saturday, and New Year's, of course, falls on the 1st, also a Saturday. Since we have a 980 schedule, we also have Team B that will have the day off on that Friday, and Team A that will have the day off on the 31st. What we're asking the board to consider is a variance to this schedule where we move all the days to the week of the 26th. It would look something like this. So we are moving the 980 day off for Team B to the Monday. So if you can follow, Team A we're requesting 3 days off for Team A since they will already have the Thursday off because of the holiday. And we're requesting 3 days off for Team B. So overall, we're requesting 3 days off and closing either the offices or the district for that whole week. We, of course, anticipate a standby being available and some staff working at the plant. So services are not discontinued. Arden and Brian, is there anything else you would like to add?
Other than what the reason we're doing this is that we have both teams, then we can bring it together if we move them into the week of Christmas. That way we don't have all these people wandering off into other days when they want to, alternate days because the holiday falls on their day off. By doing this, we all agree that that will be the time off over Christmas, and it'll be clean and it'll work very nicely. And we will always have somebody here for emergencies and staffing if we need something to go on. And
So it's 2 days,
no, it'd be total of 3 days.
3 days in the middle of the week.
Which is a little more than what I've usually done. So, okay.
Okay, you got a question? You look like you have a question, man.
Yeah, I can understand Christmas, New Year's day off on the Friday. The overlap AB, I'm sorry, I'm not grasping that map, and I couldn't understand Oriana over the speaker.
She was kind of low, yeah.
Yeah, but basically want to know if Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, is somebody going to be up in the front end?
No, we would close the office down in between. We have very few people that even come into the office.
My concern is just like Skyborn closing escrow on lots. If we get somebody that closes escrow on a house the week before Christmas to get it done by the end of the year, they might go 4, 5, 6 days with no water service.
No, I think that we can help me. And I don't know if Arturo wants to handle it, or Brian, do you want to handle it?
I can handle that. Yes, we would still have standby staff available, field personnel or construction, or C&M groups. We would still have folks available to help with those turn-ons and things of that nature. So we will still would have standby staff. We still will have stuff at the plant. If we have any wells, chlorine delivery, stuff like that, essential services, we'd still be able to provide.
Okay, how would staff know to turn on a service if there was no one upstairs to take the application, collect a deposit, whatever they got to do, establish an account?
Usually it doesn't occur over that time, but if they had and they wanted to call, we could figure out a way to contact somebody.
Yes, I believe if they called the emergency services line, we would be able to support them.
I mean, I have no problem with scaling down to a skeleton crew, but I think we should have somebody up there answering the phones during that week.
There's not a whole lot going on during that week. I mean, I know,
or maybe
a lot of people.
The city closes down. A lot of the other agencies close down too. But
I mean, it's up to you. I understand you're just looking.
This would just be a one-time thing too, just be because of the pandemic. But if there is an emergency, we always have the emergency line. If they want something to happen, we can make it happen. Yes. I'll be around. People will be around to get this done. Yes. I may even be in here during that week.
Director Martin, Vice President Martin.
Nothing. Thank you.
If we approve it today, is there enough time to get some kind of blurb out in our next bill insert about the office being closed and add that emergency number?
Yeah, that's why we brought it to you today. That provides us with the opportunity to let people know.
All right, that would cover that concern. Okay.
Director Grasha.
I'm with Randy. But I'm completely lost. So I'm just going to let you do what you're doing.
Okay. Well, I think that the staff has had some, during COVID and having to change the whole way they do things and whatnot. Hey, maybe they deserve a couple of days off, you guys.
This is just a one-time thing. So
yeah, I understand.
Okay.
The A and the B, that's the COVID breakdown as far as teams. Is that what that?
No.
Yes and no. We did break down for COVID half and half. This isn't probably not. It is split half and half, I think. And what we do is we're on a 980 work week, so every other Friday, half the staff gets off.
And that's Friday as the
and we'd have
Christmas
to move that
to
make this work out. I mean, so nobody gets more than just that amount of time off, and everybody's treated fairly.
Right, and you have flex days for people if they don't happen to fall on the day off, then they really want to be with their, and I know some people have real strong ties and others don't. For some people it's more important than others. I just wonder if there's ways to accommodate people that are in that situation that might not be on the right team on that.
I think they all get off Director Grasha. It's not.
Yeah, that's one reason we can do it this time is because each team would then get an equal amount of time off. Neither team would be treated unfairly.
So, okay, well, I personally think that I'd like to see staff get something out of this. They're like I said, COVID and learning how to Zoom meetings. And I mean, you know, we've been through a lot in the last year. So I just thought maybe I kind of agree with Art and I think it's a good idea. So do we just need to nod? I don't have any problems with
So isn't that okay, JP?
Yep.
With your
nod
I
to
don't have
say
any with what you
you're
would
okay
like to
with
do.
me doing it?
I don't have any problem with it.
I have no problem. This is just a discussion.
Director
item.
Grasha, do you have any problems with it?
No, I'm good. I just hope that everybody that wants to have that, you know, those great days around the holidays are able to make those family engagements if they want to. And I'm just hoping that this allows that. Thanks.
Yes, good
Okay.
point.
So you got your answer. So next item is the consent agenda, which are items 18, 19, 18 and 19. So I will, anybody on the line that would like to, excuse me, first I ask the board, anybody want to pull any one of these for comments or questions? None here. How about Mr. Grasha?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, anybody on the line, Dory, for this consent agenda?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Roll call vote, please.
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Grasha,
Yes.
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Vice President Martin,
Yes.
President Wright.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 20, director's reports. I'll start with Vice President Martin.
Okay, on the 14th of October, I'll take these in order they appear on the agenda. On the 14th of October, I attended the Coachella Valley Conservation Committee meeting. I was representing 5th District Jeff Hewitt. I'm his alternate. There were several land purchases approved for conservation. Also election of officers with president being Linda Evans, Mayor of La Quinta, and Vice President Steve Hernandez, City Council of Coachella. MOU with the county sheriffs to provide an enforcement unit related to illegal activities on conservation land, primarily concerned with illegal dumping and the like. Anyway, that MOU is approved. On the 21st, DVBA networking night, that was a well-attended event. Nothing more to add than that. The Riverside County Board of Supervisors meeting was actually on the 5th of October, not the 2nd. I apologize if I submitted the wrong date on that. At any rate, it was routine county business. On the 7th, DVBA Legislative Forum, there was a trend developing, eliminating parking requirements for affordable housing in various communities and jurisdictions. I don't know whether that affects development here in Desert Hot Springs, but that's the trend. On the 19th of October, Desert Hot Springs City Council meeting, an agreement was reached with the Palm Springs Unified School District to provide a school resource officer assigned to Desert High School, Desert Hot Springs High School. Kudos to council members and their assessment, somewhat critical of the school district and their failure in handling the student safety issues on campus, but it's now been resolved. On the 21st, Desert Hot Springs State of the City. I won't have anything to add that Director Sewell did. It was an excellent event, probably the best ever that I've attended. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Director Duncan, I think you said you're going to do today. Yeah.
Yes. I have notes for the October 26th CVWD board meeting, not for the October 12th or 19th. I'll have to make those up next month. I grabbed a stack of papers and I guess I missed it. That meeting, I have nothing to report on here. It was a very short meeting for them also. We just wanted to say they have anniversaries. Their crew is much like ours. Michael had been there 20 years. They have some retirements. Jim, can't pronounce his last name, 35 years with their district. Victor, 30, and Robert White, 29. So they've got some nice longevity there also. I think the longest I can remember here was Brent, like 30.
Brent was here quite a while.
36?
Maybe even Danny Makata.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But that was all I have. And nothing else in their meeting really affected us.
Okay, there was a couple on there that I did. Director Sewell did a good job on the Palm Springs Unified School District, state of the district. One thing that the superintendent said was that Palm Springs Unified, they provided food for anyone under 18 during COVID, and they served over 9 million meals during that time to people who were under 18. I thought that was really good. I thought that was cool. Just a couple of my notes. He also said they're looking forward to getting back to normal. That was kind of how he ended it.
Did that count school day meals for the kids? Or was that aside from their normal?
Well, they weren't in the classroom. Remember, there was nobody at the school. So they were serving at the schools, and I guess it was just one meal probably. He didn't say how many meals, but he just said they served over 9 million meals during that time to anyone under 18.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Okay, and as far as the Groundwater Committee meeting on October 22nd, there is the Groundwater Committee sent a write-up and up on the meeting. Dory, did we get that in the agenda? I didn't notice it.
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, I'll see if I can get that, and we'll give it to you on the next one. Okay.
Madam President?
Yes.
Are you going to touch on your appointment?
Touch on it. No.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't planned.
Okay. Never mind.
Okay. So district council, general manager's report.
Nothing new to add. And pardon me?
Okay. So I think I asked you earlier about the engineering, finance, and purchasing, and they're moving into the annex, and they're still working on the move.
Yes. Okay. I was going to tell you that if you do, I'd like to reiterate what I said. We haven't started to move people around. Brian, when do you think we'll start actually moving people around?
Oh, we are still getting quotes for the electrical connections and things of that nature, but I think if our staff does it, we'll be able to do it in the next 2 weeks, probably just after Thanksgiving.
So, yeah, to give you an idea of if you walk into the office and you see people in different places, that will be the time frame. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And so the finance and all those were done on Thursday, Kurt. So, right?
Yes.
We don't have anything else on that.
And the only thing I'm going to say, and I don't know if Marion wants to elaborate on it, but we did, we have the contest like she referred, or she went over last Thursday, and we're getting all kinds of participants with that. So it's gone over really well. We got a bunch in today. So it's going to be fun to see that play out and make a calendar out of those submittals. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that, Marion?
No, I just wanted to thank everyone for their support and for everyone who passed on the message to anyone that they knew, because everyone did wait till the last second, but I'm very happy to have them all in today. So thank you.
Okay.
There were some really cute ones too.
Yeah, she showed it to some of it to us. Is that
yeah?
We saw. Did we see Brianna's too? Yeah, we saw Brianna's. They were really cute. So okay. Okay, district council comment.
Yes, so we are going to meet in closed session today. The first item is item number 10, which will be a discussion regarding the potential or significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9 D2 and or 3. That involves one potential case related to a threat of litigation by Coachella Holdings, LLC. And item number 11 as well, we're going to be discussing in closed session, and that is the Mission Springs versus Master Meter case, and that's pending litigation. And then item number 12 is we're going to be discussing existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9 D1, and that is Mission Springs Water District versus Desert Water Agency.
Actually, those will be items 25, 26, and 27 in the new agenda. You have the old one where that
I printed it out today.
I have 25. Let me
Oh,
see, what do I have?
okay, I did Wednesday, you're right.
Okay.
Okay, I forgot to mention the Desert Hot Springs Parade. Are we still working on being?
Oh, yes, we are on schedule to get that done. Dory's been working on that. Did you have anything more you wanted?
No, the events committee has been working very hard to get that trailer set up. They've done a great job. Some of the items you'll see from last year, the railings and stuff like that, have been installed, and we're getting ready to go. Very excited about it.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
It's going to be fun.
Good. Okay.
Madam President, Director Grasha has his hand up.
Oh, thank you, Dory. Yes, Director Grasha.
I had a question about John's report. I think I missed a section of his comments on, are we meeting on more than one item at?
Yes, we are. We're meeting on the Coachella Holdings exposure to litigation. We're also meeting on the master meter litigation, and then briefly on, and it'll be very brief discussion regarding the Desert Water Agency litigation.
I hope we get a break after this before we go in, but okay, thank you.
No problem. Well, okay, so.
Director's comment?
Yeah, director's comments. I was just trying to read which director's comments I had. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, it's always an honor to get elected to office for the Mission Springs Water District, but equally impressive is when one of our board members gets appointed to represent for a certain agency within the state of California. And I know she wasn't going to bring it up, but I want to. Could you tell what the appointment is so that everybody knows what I'm talking about? I don't want to screw it up.
Okay, I was reappointed to the California Regional Water Quality Control Board, Colorado River Basin by Governor Newsom, and I asked Arden as the one who actually sworn me in and gave me my oath. So thank you, Arden.
Yeah, so that's
picture.
Yeah.
That's an awesome.
And it does require confirmation, Senate confirmation.
That is an awesome honor to be appointed to something within the state of California, and it just goes to show how well you are respected and throughout the state of California at very high levels of state government. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Russ. Thank you, everybody.
Is this the fourth time?
Gosh, I don't know, Arden. It's like
Both
17 or
Republicans
18
and
years worth. I'm
Democrats,
not, because it was on again, off again type thing. So it's been quite a few times. I could just put it that way.
Appointment for
4 years.
4 years. Nice.
Okay, so did you have any? Did I already ask this? I'm kind of out of.
Yeah, I just want to say, hope that all of our staff and our customers have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next month.
Yeah, real quick. This is crunch time for me, so I don't know about the parade, if I'll be able to attend that. I'm going to try.
Okay.
I am looking forward to Aqua. That's coming up pretty soon. But I did get a chance to sit and have breakfast with Charlie and Pam Edmondson the other day. And I told Marion and Kurt, both of them personally, that they said that the new website is much easier to operate. Thank you very much. I guess they were having quite a bit of input into the building of the website. Function flow. I'm not an IT guy, so I don't know, well all did. But they were very complimentary towards Marion and Kurt, saying they were very helpful, very knowledgeable. Anytime I can brag about our staff, I like to. So thank you to them. Just passing on those comments.
Okay, great. Director Grasha, director's comments.
Yeah, a couple. I've been having trouble getting communications from the district. for instance, the mail that came so late and what we talked about last week, and the email they shut off so that I'm not able to get my email. And then they offered an iPad, and I came down and saw that in the box. And so I opened that up and it worked, but it doesn't seem to work unless I'm in the district office. I don't know what the issue is, but I haven't seen a new email come in for over, well, I think I picked that up a week ago. So that's a little bit of a fly in the soup, that we might be able to have somebody look into. Also, on the point of order that I raised, I'd like council to maybe address this at the next meeting or today if he wishes. But I understand that a point of order needs to be addressed before moving on to a new business. And also that it's not something that you get to decide during the meeting, whether or not a meeting is stopped and whether a citizen's comments are addressed in regards to a special allowances that are made during COVID, that people, when they are participating on an issue, the meeting has to stop if their communications are broken. And that happened in this meeting. And I'm hoping that Ms. Edmondson understands that she has regress if she wishes. Or if she does, I guess that's really a question I'm asking of council. We rolled over that and we're not able to communicate in a two-way communication with her. And that made that, in my view, raises issues with that item. But I might be wrong, but this is how it's been explained to be on multiple occasions at multiple meetings. And once again, our board president just rolled through it as if it was just a pesky nuisance to deal with these issues in terms of transparency, as she so often does. And I want to congratulate you on your appointment to the state board. It'll be interesting that to see if the Senate confirms you under the circumstances. And I'm looking forward to hearing from the Senate on that issue. Thanks.
So, Madam President, just to provide some clarification for the entire board, the rule provides that in the event of a service disruption that prevents broadcasting the meeting, or in the event of a disruption within the local agency's control that prevents public comment for members of the public using the call-in option or internet option, you have to stop the meeting and take no further action on agenda items until public access is restored. In this case, all the people that were participating remotely were able to participate. Ashley Metzger, who's attending remotely, was able to participate both here and respond as board member Gracia. And so it appeared that this wasn't an issue that was within the district's control. Like, for example, if our IT system wasn't working, or our remote, server here wasn't working, that would be something that would be in our control. And so we would have to stop the meeting. But in this case, it appeared that the person was connected, but they just weren't responding. And they could have their volume down on their speaker, and they could be on a phone call, and there's not a requirement that we stop if something like that is occurring. So,
and we found out that she did get the answers to her questions,
and the questions,
and we read them aloud here at the meeting.
Correct.
So I think
that's correct.
Yeah.
Madam President, I have since heard from Ms. Edmondson, and she did state that she could hear us the entire time.
Oh, good. Okay.
The law requires that she be able to respond to questions, and that wasn't met. So there you go.
I think she did it the right way by sending him to Steve, because he's the one who ended up answering those questions, and he would have been here and answered the same questions the same way. So Pamela, if you're still there, you didn't make it on, but you got the right guy to answer your questions.
But Madam President, just to be clear, if it's something that's in our control, if we ever have that happen, then we need to stop the meeting. But if it's a problem that somebody's having on their end, we may not even be aware of it. And so there's not an obligation to stop the meeting at that point.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I guess we will take about a 5-10 minute break here, 5-minute break to go into closed session. Mr. Pinckney, do you have to say anything ahead of time?
No, I've already covered it. I've announced
Okay.
what the closed
That's right,
session
you did.
items are, and I apologize for texting, but I was texting the two attorneys that are going to be joining us to make sure that they were getting on.
Okay, great. Thank you. So we'll take a 5.
I'm ready.
Okay, John, where are you? There you are, John. Report action or no action?
So the board met in closed session on conference with legal counsel regarding significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D2 and/or 3.1 potential case related to a threat of litigation by Coachella Holdings Inc. or Coachella Holdings LLC. There was no reportable action taken. The board also met on conference with legal counsel regarding pending litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, one case, Mission Springs Water District versus Master Meter. No reportable action at this time. And then the next item was conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, and that's Mission Springs Water District versus DWA, and there was no reportable action taken. And that's a report out.
Okay, thank you, John. Thank you, everybody on this meeting. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.